Shall we start? Yeah? All right. Can I, before you ask questions, I noticed from the reporting thus far for this morning sessions. Sorry? Oh, how? Isn't this recording? You want me louder? Okay. All right. I noticed from this morning reporting that many of you did not understand why I asked for adjournment. I've actually provided the reason, but some reporting seems to suggest that there is no reason provided. That is wrong, because the reason I provided is absolutely critical. Okay? Namely this, I have told the panel about a few weeks ago that we will be putting in additional evidence as part of our appeal here. What is the additional evidence? The additional evidence is in this form. I have disclosed that to the court today. Namely this, Datuk Seri Najib says he relied on his own banker, namely M-Bank, because that is his bank. Okay, his account is there. He relied on his own bank and bankers to be honest and truthful to him. Okay? And they have not. So, they are supposed to protect him in the sense, they are supposed to raise the red flag and tell him, hey, this amount of money that is coming in may not be kosher. But none of them raised the red flag, none of them told him or alert him of anything. All right? That's number one. His own, how would I call it, company that comes under MOF when he was the Minister of Finance, 1MDB as well as SRC, was supposed to be also the people who protects him, to alert him and say, you may go perhaps a bit wrong, some of the things may not be kosher. They should tell him. They did not tell him. Okay? SRC, 1MDB. The third one, which is the last bastion of protection to him, is the Bank Negara and the governor of Bank Negara. That also fails to do that job which he was expecting them to do, especially the governor. Now, we want to show, because the learned judge in the High Court said, he made remarks like, even if the Bank Negara has warned Datuk Seri Najib about the possible suspicion of this money that came into his account, he would have ignored it because he was all too powerful, he wouldn't be bothered. Where he got this idea, we don't know, but he made that finding among many other things. So in order to rebut that, we now see development in three areas. One is Goldman Sachs and Tim Lesner has pleaded guilty in New York. In New York, when they pleaded guilty, they also said, in order to reduce their sentence, Tim Lesner said, he has bribed 1MDB officers and other associated company officers. He has bribed them. Okay? The money that he made illegally, he used some of them to bribe these officers. Now, that is relevant because if the 1MDB SRC officers and others were bribed by people from Tim Lesner, which is associated with Jolo, then no wonder we got no warning from the senior management of 1MDB and SRC to Datuk Seri Najib. So his defense that there is conspiracy between these agencies, who? SRC, 1MDB, together with his own bank and his own financial advisor, Goldman Sachs. He has said that they have conspired behind him, they made the money, and he got the blame. Okay? The money that he expected to come from into his account are only donation money from the Arab. Okay? And he has given all those statements from the Saudi to the banks, and the bank has given it to Zeti, Tan Sri Zeti, who was the Bank Negara governor. Now, that's number one. So we have made application in New York in November, but until today, we have not got this information because apart from DOJ and the US government blocking that information, you can imagine, this information is so critical to us. The US government and DOJ is acting in tandem with Tim Lesner and Goldman Sachs to deprive us of this information which we need for this defense. Because when SRC case was going on, we did not know about this matter. Now, not only that, Roger Ng in New York is also contending the same, that he knows of some information that should be with Datuk Seri Najib because it would assist him in his defense, which, Goldman Sachs has, Tim Lesner has got. And this application has been made in New York by us. We have appointed lawyers in New York. Since November, the application is made. It's called a 1782 application. Namely, it is a discovery application. I think some of you have seen this. You know about the story. And that we haven't got. The judge has directed them to give to us. But they have come and asked for a stay. DOJ has come and asked for a stay in order to delay us, which is unfair. We don't understand why a government is behaving like that. I'm made to understand that they also consulted with the Malaysian government. What the Malaysian government told them, whether to assist us or not, we don't know. Okay? But it is strange that we are not being assisted to get documents which we are entitled to as a defendant. Okay? So we said to the court, these are forthcoming. I expect about 1 month, 1.5. When these documents come, I can file in for additional evidence. Unless I get this document, I cannot file. And I did attempt to get this document since November of last year. All right? It is proven. In fact, if you want to see, I've got it here. All right? That's in New York. Now, in relation to Zeti, we now know for a fact Zeti's family received millions, I think about 16, 17 million US from Jolo. And these monies were parked in Singapore. In fact, at one stage, the account has got more than 200 million Singapore. But apparently allocated to them was about 16, 17 million US. For whom? For Zeti's husband, which is Aiman, Taufik Aiman, and his 2 sons, and their 2 sons. Okay? It is a bit difficult to believe that Tan Sri Zeti is not aware of this. Now, we have documents. The documents in the form of a statutory declaration certified by a notary public who is a Malaysian lawyer, very senior lawyer. And we have got, confirmation from that senior lawyer that the statutory declaration that he affirmed, or rather he certified, is true. What is this statutory declaration? Is by 4 persons. Taufik Aiman and the 2 sons, and the company. The company is called Cutting Edge. They have made a declaration to say that they are no longer interested to claim the money, which is parked in that Singapore account under Cutting Edge company. Why are they not interested? Because it is dirty money. Because these are money given by Jolo to them. And we got some other evidence how close Jolo is to that family. Okay, I don't want to go further than that. Now, which means what Datuk Seri Najib was relying upon the Bank Negara to alert him if there was anything amiss. He now says, no wonder they didn't alert me because they themselves are involved with Jolo. So that evidence is critical, so that his evidence become a lot more crystal clear, that the reason why he didn't discover the conspiracy is because the whole lot of them conspired without telling him. Okay, so we said, we have written to Singapore, after getting the confirmation from the Malaysian lawyer, we wrote to Singapore MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, to ask them to disclose, is this true? And the accounts of Cutting Edge and those accounts related to Jolo. Singapore authorities take 3 months to reply to us, to say no. We don't know why. The pleading of guilty of one person in Singapore, in open court, we asked a lawyer in Singapore to get a copy of the transcript. Singapore authorities say no, they cannot supply it to us. I don't understand why a court document cannot be supplied to me when it is important to my defense. Okay, there seems to be a very serious attempt by many persons not to allow my client to get many documents. All right? Now, we also wrote to the CAD of Singapore, Commercial Affairs Department, okay, to ask them to say, please give us confirmation and document pertaining to the Zeti issue and the children and the husband. They too just replied that they are not entertaining our request. So I have to tell that to the court. Okay, now, I also have asked our DPP here, not this DPP, but the 1MDB, and I have written to MACC, and I made an application in court, in Collins Court, 1MDB court, to say that this bank, M-Bank has been punished. Apparently, they have been given a very stiff fine to a very big tune. Initially, they were recommended with 5 billion fine by MACC, but now I'm told that they have been given a fine because of their misconduct. Now, what is their misconduct? Their misconduct is in relation to 1MDB, SRC, and so on. Because, can you imagine bankers being in cahoot, and the bank being in cahoot with Jolo, being in cahoot with their officers in order to make money at the expense of Datuk Seri Najib, because he never knew what was going on with the bankers. Okay? So, we have asked from the court, we have asked from DPP, we have asked from MACC to give us the documents and the information so that we can file. You see, in the appeal procedure, there is no discovery. During the trial, you can do a discovery. That's why we do the discovery in Collins Court, Justice Collins Court. But if we don't get the discovery, how do we put the additional evidence? We have got some, but they are not confirmed as to what this document is all about. But they are very telling, but we need more. So it is on that basis, you must understand, the adjournment was requested. I said that very clearly in open court, but some of you didn't follow and said that there is no reason provided. I actually spoke as long as that. Right now, that's the length of time I took to explain to the court. How can you miss that? Okay? So that is the reason why we wanted an adjournment, not because of anything else, because this additional evidence is important at the appeal. Okay? If you don't understand, ask me. I can explain to you again. Any question?
You alluded that the High Court judge had inexperienced view of the case. Can you tell us?
I said that in open court, yes. What I said, I can repeat. Okay? I cannot say more than that because I don't want to be in unnecessary trouble. What I've said is, in history in Malaysia, cases of this magnitude This is the biggest case you can find, not just in Malaysia, but in the world. I can say that. So complicated, one would expect a very senior judge with experience in criminal matters to be sent to hear this matter. Because you remember Datuk Harun's case. Datuk Harun has got two sets of cases. The first was Bank Rakyat case. And who presided? They sent a federal court judge by the name of Raja Azlan Shah to hear the case as a high court judge. Okay? The second Datuk Harun's case, which is Bank Rakyat case, they sent another equally powerful judge, namely Yusufi Abdul Qadir, who is none other than a very eminent private practitioner before, who became a judge, both criminal and civil, highly experienced. In the case of Mokhtar Hashim, the minister who was charged for murder, who did they send to preside? They sent Hashim Yop Sani, a very senior federal court judge, very senior. They sent him to preside over that case. In the case of Anwar Ibrahim, who did they send? They sent the most experienced criminal judge, Augustine Paul. And his other case was... No. There's another case, Arifin Jaka, was a very experienced criminal judge, former DPP for many years, members of the chambers, he presided. And then the Sodomy 2, who presided? Somebody who was a former DPP, very experienced criminal judge, Zabidin Dia. He presided. So the question is, why in our case, at the last moment, virtually on the eve of the trial, you change the judge from a very experienced criminal judge, which was Sufyan, to a judge who is a judge. This is the first case in the criminal trial that he's presided. This is his first criminal experience. So I said this because if you examine what I have submitted today, the principle of criminal law is difficult. Even the most experienced Lord Diplock made a mess of it in the House of Lords because he was not a criminal judge. He was a constitutional administrative law judge. So he tried to dabble in criminal law and he has totally destroyed our system and the English system. Okay? So I said it is not something easy. We always think that criminal judge can be so easy, just appoint anybody and he can do it. That was my complaint.
Do you think you can finish this Thursday, your submission?
Don't know yet, but we hope to finish it. So we finish this week, they finish next week, and then we rebut the week after.
The government that you talked about, that the DOJ, they have come and discussed and talked to, this is the current government, not the previous. You're talking about the current government.
Previous and current. It continues. It's previous and current. Because we filed long ago. And before we filed, they knew it. Okay? But you know that my application, when I said we need this information, even people like Lim Kit Siang and Lim Guan Eng says that, Datuk Seri Najib deserve to get this information. Why are you hiding? Okay? Anything else? Thank you. All right.